Oscars 2025 just ended. Is it too early to talk Oscars 2026?
Probably.
Probably. But today, Yvette and I are going to talk about all the movies that could be next year's Oscar contenders.
And this year looks like, I think, an excellent year.
Yes.
We have a lot of battles.
A lot of battles. We do. We got the battle of Frankenstein movies. We have the battle of the musical biopics.
The battle of the Safdie brothers.
Yes.
The battle of the exes.
That's right. We have another James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow year. So this year, man, it is stacked with possible Oscar contenders. Yvette and I are going to talk about all of them. And we're going to start with the films that I think we have the most faith in, and then maybe work our way down the list to the films that maybe we don't have as much faith in, but are still contenders.
Yeah, there's a lot, so grab a snack.
Yes, grab a snack. If you're doing laundry, fold laundry. This is a perfect video to do while you're doing other things. All right, so starting with number one.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, Paul Thomas Anderson
PTA.
has a film with an incredible cast. Check out this cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Alana Haim, Tiana Taylor, who should have been nominated for 1001 a couple years ago. This film is currently entitled, I believe, A Battle After Another, which is a loose adaptation of Thomas Pynchon's novel called Vineland. So the word is the plot surrounds the world of white supremacy, as DiCaprio's character and Tiana Taylor character, they're on the run from a very menacing character who's played by Sean Penn.
We're getting, it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood vibes, or like Smokey and the Bandit vibe. We've heard comparisons to Jonathan Demme's 1986 screwball comedy road movie, Something Wild, as well as Alex Cox's 1984 sci-fi black comedy Repo Man.
So the upside, PTA has become a household name. DGA even recognized him for the Year of Licorice Pizza. He's had 3 Best Picture nominations at this point. Almost all of his films have shown up at the Oscars somewhere. I even remember the year of Inherent Vice, that surprise with a Best Adaptation nomination. So yeah, he is a name within the Academy. He's a recognizable name.
And this is his biggest movie yet. The budget is rumored to be around 140 million, is that right? 35 millimeter VistaVision. There will be an IMAX screening release as well. Early screenings are reporting that there's a lot of action and car scenes, so it's apparently very exciting. PTA pitched this as his most commercial film yet.
We don't know if it is, but he pitched it that way.
So it might be, for broad audience, like for a wide variety of audiences. Early reaction reports have been a little mixed though.
Yeah.
Pretty unanimously, it's very WTF, would you say?
I would say so. It could be a very good WTF or bad WTF. We're not sure. It's a test screening, right? So I don't put a lot of stock into it too much. But it's something. It's something.
It's a little tinge of concern. It's being released in August. So that's another thing, that it's a little early. Leonardo DiCaprio's last 5 films have been nominated for Best Picture, though. The last one not to be nominated was The Great Gatsby, is that correct?
Yeah.
The Great Gatsby.
I think so.
Variety said that the film would need to pull in $300 million to turn in a profit.
Right.
So that's a lot. Personally, I do think Leo can do it, though, because I think he's a big enough star.
Yeah, and if they have the right rollout strategy, I think they can definitely make it happen. Also, PTA, at this point, man, he's very overdue. 11 nominations to this man's name, no wins. That should be the centerpiece of their awards campaign. It sounds like a very exciting project. Also, I think Sean Penn is one of those actors that the Academy likes to award every 10 to 15 years. And I could see definitely a supporting actor nomination for his performance here, based on what I'm hearing so far.
Okay, number 2 is my most anticipated movie, Frankenstein. This is the battle of the Frankenstein movies. One is by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and the other is by the monster daddy himself, Guillermo del Toro.
Now, I know people are watching this and they're shouting that this is way too high on our list. Way too high. A reminder, though, we're sorting this list into what we think is the most likely to be nominated, not so much win. We're trying to get as many Best Picture nominees as possible. And Del Toro directing something that he knows the back of his hand, it just felt kind of pretty safe for us.
Yes, it's in his zone. Also, he's aiming pretty high for this one, saying he wants to make this
the definitive Frankenstein movie.
Yes, the definitive. So I'm excited for that.
First, the negative. So Does this world really need another Frankenstein movie? Will Del Toro's passion radiate? Will Gyllenhaal's The Bride inadvertently hurt Del Toro's Frankenstein? Those are all questions to be seen. Yvette, what do we know about this movie, though?
Okay, we have a behind-the-scenes image, and we know this has been a passion project for Guillermo that he's been stewing on since 2007. The producer has hinted that this Frankenstein could be emotional as its father figure themes strike a chord with Guillermo. Del Toro stated that he wanted to make a faithful adaptation to Mary Shelley's novel, which Guillermo feels wasn't fully captured by any other adaptation so far.
Oscar Isaac is also playing Dr. Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi is playing the creature.
I believe originally it was Andrew Garfield, right?
It was.
You know, I like the bold swing he's taking in casting like hotties as the creature.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like it.
Like,
also, Mia Goth and Christoph Waltz are in this film. Del Toro's last 3 films have been either nominated for Best Picture or won some sort of major Oscar of the night. I remember Nightmare Alley. It managed to score a Best Picture nomination on Oscar nomination morning, which I know was a major surprise, despite it bombing at the box office. I think that just kind of speaks to really how well respected Del Toro is.
Also, Netflix is releasing this right around November.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a perfect timing for Oscars consideration. I was expecting Nosferatu vibes when I first heard that this was going to be made, but the image definitely looks like broader in scope, more like Hugo. Would you agree?
Hugo got 11 nominations, though.
Good point. That did do well. Later, we'll talk about Maggie's movie because I think that one has a lot of potential as well.
Yeah, no, it does.
But I do know that there's a lot of love for Mary Shelley's novel, and his dedication to being faithful to the book will earn him, I think, a lot of appreciation from all the bookworms out there.
If I had to guess right now, I would say this is probably not going to be like a top 5 Oscar contender, but we'll probably be in like that 5 to 10 range, just kind of based on, I would say, like the text.
I feel like I can see both sides. I can see what you're saying, but I could also see like a Shape of Water year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Frankenstein's way too recognizable. Like, it would have to be the best Frankenstein in the planet. It'd have to blow people's minds, but I don't know if it's fresh and new enough to, like, snag Best Picture. Shape of Water has that creative story. All right, so number 3, this sets our next battle, the battle of the Safdie brothers. They are both making their own movie this year. Our number 3 pick is the one that I think sounds a bit more enticing to us. This comes from Josh Safdie. This is Marty Supreme. When I go to Taco Bell, I get a beef Supreme gordita. So, is that relevant? I don't think so.
You get a gordita?
Yeah, I get a gordita.
I thought you got chalupa.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because they don't have gorditas, they have chalupas
You
now.
traded it for chalupas.
I didn't trade it. Taco Bell just got rid of gorditas. They said no one on the planet eats these gorditas anymore. I'm like, I do. This pick is definitely more based on vibes, I would say. I don't think there's a history with Safdie really at the Oscars, so this is just one we're feeling like we're just basing it on vibes. There is a chance that this movie is just uncut gems, which is to say it's amazing, but maybe something that the Oscars won't gravitate to. But this film has something that his previous films didn't have, and that's the power of Chalamet.
Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet plays a character inspired by a real professional tennis player named Marty Reisman, who is also known as the ping pong hustler. It's described as a period drama of sorts, set partly at least in the 1940s America. So there's been comparisons being made to Wolf of Wall Street and Catch Me If You Can.
2 bangers.
2 really great
bangers
movies.
right there. I loved both of those movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds amazing to me.
Chalamet says this about the director.
Yeah, Josh is the real deal, man. Like, and seriously, like Josh Safdie, he's like the modern day Scorsese.
A24 seems pretty gassed up about this film as well. The budget is somewhere between 70 and 90 million. A24's most expensive film to date.
Yeah, and the cast is very strange but fascinating. Timothée Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, that's not the strange part. This is Tyler, the Creator, Penn Jillette, Fran Drescher, SAG president, and then we got Kevin O'Leary, he's the bald guy from Shark Tank. It's such a strange, peculiar cast, but it just does make me a little bit more curious. And with Everything Everywhere all at once, and then we have a Nora. Academy has been awarding filmmakers that have kind of been earning their stripes over less or over more established directors. And I think Safdie, I think he fits that bill.
It's also being released on Christmas, another perfectly timed Oscar potential flick.
Very true. And A Complete Unknown was another Chalamet Christmas release, and look how well that did. So highly anticipating this movie.
Is it because of Penn Jillette?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people don't know, but Ryan has like a little fascination with magic. Maybe he'll do a magic trick for you.
Wow.
Eventually.
Yo, I already love the Oscars. You're trying to ruin my cool points completely. Yeah, I like the Oscars and I like magic. I have no idea why she likes me. How is it
I
possible?
love you.
All right, Yvette, what do we got next?
Now we have Wicked, one of my favorite films from this past year. This is the second part of the two-part feature film adaptation of the Broadway musical Wicked for Good. 10 nominations for the first one.
A lot.
Will this be Joker Folie à Deux? I don't think so. Wicked was filmed back to back. The source material is already written. Audiences already know this is the end of the story. Right. This story obviously picks up where the first one left off. The wizard has framed Elphaba at this point, and the friendship is tested as Elphaba's crusade conflicts with Glinda's struggle for power.
So the negatives. The second half of Wicked is said to be less memorable with its songs. It has a darker story and has a lot of Wizard of Oz cameos, which that might be a positive. I think the first one likely was more successful because it embodies all the best parts of the Wicked show, at least from what I heard and what you've told me, and kind of leaves out the less memorable parts. So the positives though, composer Stephen Schwartz said there's gonna be 2 new songs in Wicked Part 2. He says that, quote, the story required it, and therefore they were created. The intention was that they were going to be organic and not imposed in the movie. So that does sound pretty appealing.
Original song nomination, possibly?
I think so. I think so.
I think so too. This film is going to offer a lot more nostalgia to the original Wizard of Oz as well, so that could be a plus for broader audiences.
Not to mention, I think the criticisms of the first one, such as the color grade, they have time to tweak it if they want to.
Are you sending a message?
Tweak it. Do it.
Also, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo killed it at their performance at the Oscars.
Which I am sure earned them a lot more admiration than there already was for them. The challenge, I think, is the element of surprise is gone with Wicked. We know Erivo and Grande are incredible. We know Wicked turned out rather good. In order to get that same tally of nominations as last year, they kind of have to outdo themselves. So I don't think this is a surefire Best Picture nomination, but there is a world where their nomination total is unlimited. Their nomination totals, unlimited. So yeah, it could be a good one.
You want to try that again?
Oh, I think I nailed it. I think I was right on key.
What's next?
All right, we got another big Hollywood spectacle sequel to add. And I'm talking about James Cameron's third Avatar movie, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Following The Way of Water, Fire and Ash will now follow Jake Sully and Neytiri as they face a new threat on Pandora, the Ash people, an aggressive volcanic race of Na'vi. We have to assume the Avatar sequels, they're gonna run out of gas eventually. However, I don't doubt the Cameron. When you do, it's your mistake each time.
The challenge is, as Cameron explores more of Pandora, once again, he has to offer something new before everyone starts getting bored, I think. The first film, we experience a sensation of flying, and the second one, we're really immersed in Pandora's ocean. Does Cameron have anything new to show off? I'm guessing some incredible fire sequences.
That's true. I think the second was successful ultimately because he continued advancing the technology. Like James Cameron has said, though, about this movie, quote, the big creative advance in Fire and Ash is going to be greater character depth. Cameron said, we're seeing new cultures, new creatures, all the same stuff you would expect with an Avatar movie, but the whole idea of this cycle of films is to live with these people, go on this epic journey with them. So I think it's not about, we're going to show you the best water visual effects ever done, but you're going to get more into the heart and soul of these characters. Hearing that, I think, was more slightly concerning for me because I would say that Cameron, the roller coaster spectacle maker, he's like top shelf, top notch. But Cameron, the writer and developer of like complex characters, that is to be seen. It doesn't mean he can't do it, but I don't know if we've seen it quite yet.
We do have the same writers from the second Avatar, though, so that's a good thing. We have the same cinematographer and composer, so, they're just replicating the same magic from before. Fire and Ash is guaranteed to make money, we know that much.
Yeah. And The Way of Water, I think, sparked, obviously, possibly a new generation of Avatar fans. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think we're just going to have to predict Avatar movies until one falls. That's just what we're going to do. So Avatar, Fire and Ash, number 5. Do I think it's going to be a top 5 film in the end? No, I don't think so. But again, we're trying to just get as many Best Picture nominees as we can, and it just feels safe than just kind of going on a wild goose hunt. Goose hunt? Goose hunt. Goose chase? Goose chase. Whatever it is, you get it.
The next film is a very tricky one to call. It's one of my favorite directors, Yorgos Lanthimos. But the question is this Kinds of Kindness or is this Poor Things? At number 6, we have Lanthimos' Begonia. This is based off the South Korean film from 2003, Save the Green Planet. 2 conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. The original film had a male CEO. In this version, Emma Stone is playing the CEO, suspected of being an alien. Jesse Plemons plays one of the conspiracy theorists, which I think both of those are perfect casting, who's also a beekeeper.
Also, Alicia Silverstone plays his mother in the film. But I don't imagine this film, if I'm guessing today, is going to reach the heights of Poor Things. But I don't think it's going to be a Kinds of Kindness either. My guess is it's going to be somewhere in the middle. First, there's a November release. That's important. Tony McNamara is not writing this. But this is not written by Yorgos and Philippou. This is written by Will Tracy, one of the writers of The Menu and episodes of Succession. So I think this is going to have the right balance of weird, where it's weird, but not like excessively weird.
Also, it's not an anthology film this time around, and it kind of seems like when he doesn't write the films, they're smash successes.
That's very true. Like the last 2 films prior to this, Poor Things and The Favorite, both smash successes at the Oscars, both films he didn't write.
So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Right. The Favorite is your optimistic, and Kinds of Kindness is your cautious.
Exactly.
Kinds of Kindness made us slow down our roll a little bit for this guy, but I still believe in him.
Me too.
All right, so moving on to the next one. I'm going to go with another filmmaker that's very hot and cold with the Academy. I'm talking about Luca Guadagnino. He's got another film coming out, a psychological thriller, and here's the cast. Julia Roberts, Ayoa Debris, Andrew Garfield, Michael Stuhlbarg, Chloe Sevigny. Very nice lineup there. And Julia Roberts plays a college professor who finds herself at a personal and professional crossroads when a star pupil levels an allegation or an accusation, I believe it's rape, against one of her colleagues. And a dark secret from her past threatens to come to light. So it sounds very interesting.
Rumors are out there about After the Hunt having a very sharp script written by Nora Garrett in her very first screenplay, actually. So this is kind of exciting to see a new screenwriter. The editor is the same from Challengers, which should have got him an Oscar nomination. Yeah.
Should have won.
In our humble opinion. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are doing the music.
The DP is kind of a peculiar choice, in my opinion. It's Malik Hassan Saeed, who has an incredible resume in music videos and concerts, but his last major narrative film was Belly in 1998.
Oh, wow.
I know Challengers also completely blanked at the Oscars. However, what makes After the Hunt a bit different is October 10th release date. So it doesn't have to keep that buzz going the entire year like Challengers did. So that's, I think, an advantage.
It's being distributed by Amazon MGM, who parted ways with Guadagnino.
Yeah, on Queer.
Yeah. So we're guessing that this is going to fall more in line with Challengers. And while Challengers was a burst of young talent, Julia Roberts is fantastic in roles that allow her to be a little bit more edgy.
Yeah, Aaron Brockovich.
Yes, Closer, August Osage County.
I'm not hungry. Eat the fish, bitch. I love it.
You like him in your face?
Yes.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like you, but sweeter.
That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet and ugly shoes.
She brings the spice. So yeah, I think she's gonna kill it in a Guadagnino film.
I think so too. Again, Luca is often overlooked by the Academy. Would you believe it if I told you that this guy has never been nominated in the Best Director category?
Interesting.
That needs to be rectified. And maybe a movie starring an old school favorite like Julia Roberts will turn their heads. So I'm looking forward to this one a lot.
At number 8, with Nora winning Best Picture and all, we're sticking a neon film in the lineup. This is Joachim Trier. I hope I'm saying his name right. Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value. This is the filmmaker behind The Worst Person in the World.
Yeah, The Worst Person in the World shocked many on nomination morning a couple of years ago when it appeared in the screenplay category, likely showing that it was really in striking distance from a Best Picture nomination. So that's why we have this one in here.
The plot description of Sentimental Value describes two sisters grieving the loss of their mother when their father reappears in their life. He was once a celebrated filmmaker and is making his comeback by writing a script and offers the part to his daughter, which she refuses. So it sounds like a story about a fractured relationship between two daughters and their father.
Also, there's a tie-in with filmmaking, which could be relatable to the Academy. He's working with the same co-writer, editor, cinematographer as Worst Person in the World, so the team's coming back. Renate Reisve from Worst Person in the World, and if I said her name wrong, I apologize. I'm terrible with names. She's going to be starring in this film. Elle Fanning, I believe, is playing the other sister. The father is played by Stellan Skarsgård, which sounds like a fantastic role. Sentimental Value is also Trier's first film since Worst Person in the World about 4 years ago, so it's not a rush project, nice amount of time to kind of stew it over. Also, the Academy has been opening up to kind of celebrating international voices like Justine Triet, and this could be Neon's big swing of the year. So yeah, it feels like it should be here.
Principal photography ended in August of 2024, so it might be ready in time for a Cannes premiere. And there's also been a progression of Joachim Trier's career, and it just looks very promising given the talent at hand.
I agree. Also, I can see a world where Skarsgård is maybe Best Supporting Actor nominated, maybe a potential win. It sounds kind of like very like a real Painish to me. Like, all right, so now we're going to talk about the battle of the musical biopics. We have in this corner Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. And in this corner, we got the Bruce Springsteen biopic. Many have more faith in the Michael biopic, but we're going to go with the Bruce Springsteen one. Deliver Me From Nowhere. This is like, it's catnip for boomers. And I say that with respect, of course.
Based on the book by Warren Zanes, the film is going to follow Bruce Springsteen on his journey to make his 6th album, a departure from his previous work and when representing the boss at his most stripped down and personal. It sounds like a story of an artist intentionally stepping away from commercialization and getting back in touch with his inner artist. Springsteen recorded Nebraska apparently on a 4-track cassette in his bedroom in New Jersey, so this movie is about him making that album.
Right, this is directed by Scott Cooper, whose track record with the Academy I would say is not the greatest. Well, that's an understatement. His films never seemed to make it. However, his first film, Crazy Heart, surrounded music, and that was his biggest success at the Oscars. It won Jeff Bridges his Oscar. It won Best Original Song. So with all that experience under his belt, I think this could be the right project that the Academy will connect with for him.
It also has a great cast. Jeremy Allen White plays Springsteen. He's clearly grown in popularity since The Bear, and we have confirmed he sings.
He sings in the movie. And Springsteen has given him the seal of approval.
So that's really interesting. I'll be excited to see that.
Yes. And also, we got another Jeremy. Jeremy Strong plays Springsteen's manager and record producer, John Landau. Paul Walter Hauser, which we both love. He's Springsteen's recording engineer. We got Stephen Graham, Gavi Hoffman. They're playing Bruce's parents. Odessa Young, she's going to play a fictional love interest character in the film. Now, I don't know if you heard about this, but A24 was apparently expected to acquire the rights for this film, and in a heated bidding war, 20th Century ultimately won that war. So if the film was cool enough for A24 to want it, hey, it's cool enough for me. So it sounds similar to A Complete Unknown. It even has a similar title.
It's true, it does.
Complete Unknown, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I mean, if you mix it up, you might forget
which one's which.
But yeah, and also it's slated for 2025, so it's looking pretty good.
It almost sounds plot-wise like the opposite trajectory of A Complete Unknown, though, because Bob Dylan was growing tired of his grassroots folk scene, and in this movie, he seems to want to go back to his roots, at least from what we're hearing.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's going to be fun.
All right, let's move on to our last film.
Moving on, I'm going to counterbalance that safer pick with a bolder pick of ours, rounding out our 10 films in Best Picture. Let's go with, I know This one is probably...
This is a crazy pick.
Yeah. But hear us out, Eddington. This is from Ari Aster, the director behind crazy, insane movies like Beau is Afraid, Hereditary, and Midsommar, which I love all those movies.
love all those films.
They're all my type of movies.
He's not exactly an Academy-friendly director. So again, we may be completely crazy for putting him in our lineup, but something tells us that maybe this could be a story that hits. I don't know.
It stars Joaquin Phoenix as a small-town sheriff, Joe Cross, who decides to run for mayor of the town Eddington after he refuses to wear a mask at a local grocery store. Pedro Pascal plays the incumbent mayor, Ted Garcia, who isn't happy as he was led to believe that he'd be running unopposed. Emma Stone, she's back, and Austin Butler, I believe, are playing a couple of, a couple that's
I think they're stranded somewhere, and I don't know how they connect to the larger story, but they're stranded.
Yeah, they're like
town.
a couple in the film. This film takes place during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's being described as a contemporary Western black comedy film. This may be a satire about America's discourse surrounding the issue that we face, but everything is currently under wraps, so it's hard to say.
Also, I think in Beau is Afraid, I think that first hour, at least for me, and I think for you too, was our favorite. I think that was masterful in that first hour. So if this film is kind of like that first hour, man, I'm in for a treat. Overall, I think we're getting kind of Coen Brothers, 3 Billboards vibes from this one. Also, very important, Variety reported Eddington is eyeing a premiere at Cannes, which an Ari Aster film has yet to do. Something tells me if this film was crazy, they wouldn't likely risk it premiering at Cannes. So Beau is Afraid and Midsommar, they skipped the festival circuit. Now, will I be surprised if this ends up being too weird for the Academy? No, it's Ari Aster. But like how we talked about Josh Safdie, Ari Aster has been making a name for himself as well. Some even coined him the modern new Stanley Kubrick, so...
The release date is aiming around June to August, so it might be a little too early of a release, but hey, we gotta have at least one wild card in here.
One wild card in there. I think
and Eddington, yeah, that's a good pick, I think.
That's a good pick.
As our wild card.
All right, so those were our picks for Best Picture, but we're gonna run through a lot more other options, a lot more other films in order from most to least likely in our estimation, of course. At number 11, we have Hamnet. This is from director of Nomadland, Chloe Zhao. She's coming off her Marvel venture with Eternals. She has a period piece based off the novel Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. O'Farrell and Chloe Zhao, they co-wrote the script together. Hamnet is a fictional story about the life of William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes following the death of their 11-year-old son. Hamnet is described as a human and heart-stopping story, also the backdrop to the creation of Shakespeare's most famous play, Hamlet. So Jessie Buckley, you know her. Mm-hmm. She plays Agnes. Paul Mescal plays William Shatner. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, William Shakespeare.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
The DP is Lucas Zoll from Zone of Interest and Cold War and Ida. So this sounds like to us, it's going to be kind of like Shakespeare in Love, would you say?
Yeah, it's giving Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, also the Goodreads on this is a 4.2, which is a good score. And so, yeah, I think with the costume design nomination, I think looks pretty promising.
For Cyrano.
It could be like Cyrano. Sam Mendes, though, was originally attached to direct this movie before he handed it over to Zhao. So Sam Mendes and Steven Spielberg are listed as producers. So yeah, this could be our very old-timey period piece and suitable project for Zhao, especially coming off Eternals, which
I couldn't finish.
Yeah. So yeah, what else we got?
We have Noah Baumbach's new film at number 12. Baumbach has been nominated 3 times for screenplay. Marriage Story was obviously his biggest success, Academy success. His new film is a comedy drama called Jay Kelly and stars George Clooney and Adam Sandler as 2 middle-aged friends who rediscover their youthful spirit during a chaotic weekend reunion, facing hilarious mishaps and heartfelt moments that force them to finally grow up. The cast is stacked. Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Greta Gerwig,
Jim Broadbent,
yes, Isla Fisher, Patrick Wilson. It's shot by Lena Sangren from the Academy-winning La La Land and Saltburn. It's being released in the fall season by Netflix, so it's very likely to get an awards push.
It's also co-written by Emily Mortimer. So I'm waiting to see who's going to be the composer, because if it ends up being Randy Newman, Watch out. Watch out. This could be another marriage story. But next, we have the untitled Catherine Bigelow film. This story is centered on White House staffers grappling with an impending missile strike on America. So it looks like it's going to be a very intense film, presented in real time. It stars Idris Elba, Greta Lee, Tracy Letts, and Rebecca Ferguson. And we got the Academy Award winning DP from Hurt Locker. He's shooting it. Also, this is Bigelow's first film since Detroit in 2017. A film that caused some form of controversy, I suppose. It had an outpour of all these, think pieces critiquing Bigelow on her telling that story or how she told that story. Personally, I'm very glad to have her back because I think she is a masterclass filmmaker. Also, the script is by Noah Oppenheim, who wrote Jackie and was the producer of the NBC's Today Show. So this somewhat kind of echoes that journalist relationship that she had with Mark Bowl. My only hesitation is that this is not directly based on true events. If it were, I would put it probably in our top 10, but this could be heart-poundingly grounded in something that very much could happen, so we'll see. Also, she's going up against her ex-husband.
This is one of our battles, Battle of the Exes.
That's right, she's going up against James Cameron once again.
I was actually curious to know, what if the film is like a parallel or like a metaphor about the state of our country today? It could make the film more relevant.
Yeah. And also if she roots it in real government protocol too, exposing our flaws, I think the better chances the film would have.
Yeah, she has a knack for doing that too.
She really does.
So I don't know, we might be underestimating her. Next, we have Ann Lee, and this probably wouldn't have been on our radar, but with the massive splash The Brutalist made, Ann Lee needs to be heavily considered. Right. This is not directed by Brady Corbet, but it is directed by his wife, Mona Fastvold. She co-wrote The Brutalist and Vox Lux with Brady, and this story sounds really interesting, actually. It stars Amanda Seyfried in an epic fable about a religious leader, Ann Lee. She's the founding leader of the Shaker movement, who was proclaimed by her followers as the female Christ. And she went on to build one of the largest utopian societies in American history. So this is based on a real person.
Oh yeah, and Variety reported that they are planning for a Venice premiere. So we don't know if this was shot on film, but recent winner Daniel Bloomberg, he's composing the film. So this could be something to keep an eye out for.
I agree. It sounds really interesting.
I can imagine Amanda Seyfried can get a nomination for that, though. Best Actress nomination.
That's true.
It seems like a good, juicy role. And I see it as kind of a, maybe like Midsummer meets Beguiled. That's what I see.
I don't know why I'm imagining like Wild Wild West. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, so you know the movies where they make those compounds? The one we just saw where they have
Oh,
the
you're talking
shootout?
about Wild Wild Country.
Oh yeah, Wild Wild Country.
I thought you were talking about the Will Smith movie, Wild Wild
Oh
West.
no, sorry, Wild Wild Country.
Wild Wild Country, yes, absolutely.
That's
I totally see that.
Will
All right,
Smith-
number 15.
Will Smith has a movie called Wild Wild West.
So fun fact, Will Smith turned down The Matrix to play Neo to do Wild Wild West.
Wow.
And that movie bombed. All right, number 15. We only have this film this low because it's not likely going to be a film that comes out this year. I'm a big believer, though, in Edward Berger at this point. He has yet another film distributed by Netflix. It's called The Ballad of Small Player. It stars Colin Farrell as an English con man and gambler. So while laying low in Macau, due to his past and debts catching up to him, he encounters a kindred spirit who just might hold the key to his salvation. So it's part ghost story, part psychological thriller. It co-stars Tilda Swinton and Fowla Chin. We can expect that this film is going to look incredible. It's shot by James Friend from All Quiet on the Western Front, and it's shot in Macau and Hong Kong, so I think it's going to look very cool. And the composer is the man, Walter Bertelmann, nominated for both Conclave and All Quiet on the Western Front. He won for All Quiet on the Western Front. I love his scores.
You love those scores.
Really
But they are really fun scores. The Goodreads score on this book is a 3.5.
Yeah, that's not the greatest.
Yeah, not great. It's compared to the works of Dostoevsky, who wrote Crime and Punishment and The Gambler. From my understanding, this book is not a tightly wound plot-driven story like Conclave. It seems a bit more atmospheric and focused more on the psychological state of the main character.
But again, though, I mean, in Berger, I trust. Conclave was wildly entertaining to me. Again, though, I'm not sure if this is going to make it in time for this year. I know Berger took over a year in the editing room for Conclave, but if it is in time for, let's say, Telluride or TIFF, this is definitely a big contender to look out for.
All right, moving on a little more quickly now, hopefully. Some honorable mentions, The Roses. I mean, there has to be a Fox Searchlight film in here somewhere in the Best Picture lineup. Based on our current slate, Jay Roach, the director of Bombshell and Trumbo, could be their pick. This is based on The War of Roses by Warren Adler. The Roses is about a picture-perfect marriage that falls apart when the husband's professional career takes a turn for the worse.
Yeah, the original film is about materialism because when their marriage kind of falls apart, material possessions become the center of their divorce battle.
I see. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, Kate McKinnon, and Adam Sandberg co-star. Jay Roach's last two films were Trumbo and Bombshell, which both scored nominations, correct?
Yeah, in acting.
In acting, okay. But check this out. Writer of Poor Things and The Favorite.
Tony McNamara, baby.
Yes, wrote the script. The DP of Tar is behind the camera as well. I think this could be a really fun, biting comedy, and I think Cumberbatch and Coleman, I mean, come on, they're going to be awesome together.
Absolutely. And going back to directors, by the way, who may be next up at Park Chan-wook. He is definitely overdue for recognition. He's got a new movie coming out this year, No Other Choice. For those who don't know, Park Chan-wook, Old Boy, Thirst, Stoker. I know you love Stoker. The Handmaiden.
Yeah,
You like The
really good
Handmaiden.
movies.
Decision to Leave, one of your favorite directors.
Yeah.
His next film is called No Other Choice. It's based on the novel The Axe by Donald Westlake. The plot is as follows. After being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job, eliminating his competition. So it's a black comedy of sorts, and Park has described this as being a lifetime project that he wanted to make, and has stated that he wanted this film to be his masterpiece. So this could be this year's Parasite, and I would love to see it. I would love to see Park Chan-wook kind of get his moment in the sun. I believe filming ended in January, so hopefully we'll see it released this year. Cross our fingers, not sure.
The next film is by Julian Schnabel. He's the filmmaker behind Diving Bell and the Butterfly and Before Night Falls, and At Eternity's Gate.
Which, by the way, all received Oscar nominations. And in a year of 10 nominees, there's no doubt I think Diving Bell and the Butterfly would have cracked Best Picture.
His last film, At Eternity's Gate, was around $12 million for his budget. The next film is $25 million, so much bigger. It's called The Hand of Dante. It's about the mob finding the original manuscript of Dante Alighieri's poem, The Divine Comedy. To authenticate it, they call a weary scholar named Nick, played by Oscar Isaac. Overwhelmed by temptation, Nick defies the mafia and steals the manuscript. It sounds like a really fun, smart, thrilling film, and a nice change of pace for Schnabel.
Yeah, this could be this year's Conclave, I think. The cast also. Jason Momoa, Gerard Butler, Gal Gadot, Al Pacino, John Malkovich. I think the downside is the book is pretty mixed. It has a
3 on Goodreads.
Ooh, that's not good.
With some readers talking about how it sometimes drags when bouncing from past to present. We'll see, though. Not a great score, but it could be different from the book. I don't believe the film you said has a distributor yet.
No, but we can expect to see it this year.
I'm worried about the Goodreads score.
Yeah, the Goodreads score is concerning. It's concerning. But Julian Schnabel's a pretty good director.
Okay.
All right, so next on the list we have Train Dreams. We won't talk about this film too much. We reviewed this film at Sundance. This is co-written by the director of Sing Sing. It's a tale of the American frontier. It's really majestic. It's poetic. It's beautiful. Joel Edgerton, I think, gives a really great performance in it. I don't think it was like an obvious Best Picture contender upon seeing it because it's not like, your typical plot-driven story, but it's more of like a folklore tale. Check out a review though. I absolutely loved it, but it's not like an immediate obvious Best Picture contender. Ultimately, the film I think looks fantastic. Netflix purchased the film, so they saw something in Train Dreams. And I think with the right marketing, the right angle, I think I could ultimately see it. I could see it.
Next, we have Joseph Kosinski, director of Top Gun Maverick, has a new spectacle, not in the air, but on the F1 racetrack.
The film is titled
F1, and it follows a similar plot as Top Gun Maverick. Brad Pitt is an ex-Formula One driver forced into retirement from a terrible crash. A friend played by Javier Bardem asks him to come out of retirement to mentor a rookie prodigy. So the star of the film is clearly the stunts.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt and some other actors will be driving race cars with onboard cameras. It's the same writer of Top Gun Maverick and cinematographer. Hans Zimmer is doing the score.
Academy Award-winning editor also, Stephen Maroney. He's on board to do this. So unlike Top Gun Maverick, there's no nostalgic factor there. But I think this could be a very big spectacle. The new film was reported to have a $300 million budget, so it's got a high bar it's got to cross, but it could be a big movie. Is this a movie that you're personally looking forward to, actually? I don't even know.
Not my cup of tea.
Well, okay, well then this one might be for you. We have the Battle of the Frankenstein movies. Del Toro's Frankenstein sounded great, but I think so does Maggie Gyllenhaal's. The Bride, distributed by WB. The story is as follows. In 1930s Chicago, Frankenstein asked Dr. Euphronius to help create a companion to give life to a murdered woman as the bride, sparking romance, police interest, and radical social change. The crew and cast is stacked. We got Jessie Buckley.
She's back.
She's back. She's playing Frankenstein's the bride. We got Christian Bale. He's going to be playing Frankenstein. Penelope Cruz is in it. Peter Sarsgaard, Annette Bening, John Magaro, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Scream it! Jake Gyllenhaal!
We got the editor of Zero Dark 30, Johnny Greenwood. He's the composer of There Will Be Blood. He's going to be doing the score. The setup of this movie almost sounds like something we wanted with that Joker and Harley Quinn relationship in Joker 2. And speaking of Joker 2, the same DP, Lawrence Shear. He's shooting the movie. And it's going to be a very sizable project, $80 million. And according to Peter Sarsgaard, The Bride is going to feature big dance numbers.
Oh.
There's a chance that this could be a very fun, very wild ride. It could totally outshine Del Toro's Frankenstein. I imagine there's only going to be one that's going to make it in the end. And, you know, this sounds like a very bold swing and one that could pay off. Or it could be another WB musical misfire.
I will say they sound vastly different. This sounds more modern, like a more modern interpretation than Guillermo's.
It does, yes. I think Guillermo's is going to be a very faithful adaptation set in the 1700s, and this is going to take place in the 1930s.
Yeah, it might be a good idea for them to think up some marketing strategy for like a fun double feature. They should consider releasing the films at the same time, and then maybe like coining some kind of, you know, Barbenheimer.
That's
kind
true.
of term or marketing.
Frankenbride.
Yeah.
Frankenbride.
Or maybe there's a better name out there. If there is, put it in the comments.
No, there's not. It's Frankenbride.
Okay, we're gonna move a little faster. I know we keep saying we're moving faster and we're not. But next we have Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky. This is based on a book by Charlie Huston. The film follows a former baseball player who finds himself immersed in criminality in New York in the 1900s, or not 1900s, 1990s, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Regina King.
Leif Schreiber's in it.
It's slated for an August release date.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early, but I feel like we always have to consider Aronofsky.
This sounds, I think, less like an Oscar movie and something a little bit more stylish and gritty, very pulpy. The book does have a good Goodreads score, though.
Yeah, 4.0 on Goodreads, so that's a good sign that it's a good book. He's got a good base, a good canvas to work with.
Also a good DP and a good editor. Same ones from Black Swan, Aronofsky's most successful Oscar film. So this is a film I'm excited for. I know you're a big Aronofsky fan.
Yeah, I am. Even the controversial ones.
Even the ones that people hate, she loves.
Yeah.
Except Noah.
Yeah, I actually recently rewatched Noah, and I did like it. It's kind of fantastical.
Well, speaking of directors that sometimes have a movie in the Oscars and sometimes don't, Wes Anderson. His new film's called The Phoenician Scheme. The cast is massive, but perhaps not as stacked as his last film. We got Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Benedict Cumberbatch, Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Wright, Reza. Okay, never mind. It's very stacked. I've heard, though, it mostly centers around Benicio del Toro. That's just something I heard. And the plot describes a dark tale of espionage following a strained father-daughter relationship. I think that's the core of the movie, within a family business. So there's twists that revolve around betrayal, and morally gray zones. Anderson has, of course, Desplat. He's going to be doing the score. We got the same editor from Grand Budapest. We got Bruno Del Bonell, the 6-time Academy Award nominated cinematographer from Tragedy Macbeth. Look, I mean, Asteroid City, French Dispatch, both were ignored by the Academy. It's a matter of time before Wes Anderson hits again. But Wes Anderson, I think, needs to offer something new to kind of reignite the Academy's interest.
You always have to consider Anderson, especially because he just won an Oscar 2 years ago.
For the short film. All right, so what do we got next?
So the next film we may have too low. Past Lives' Celine Song has a new film called Materialists. This is a New York film surrounding a high-end matchmaker who is highly sought after from rich clients. Ultimately, her lucrative business is complicated when she falls into a toxic love triangle that threatens her clients. The same editor and cinematographer as Past Lives, A24 is also distributing. Our hesitation is really only the cast. It's Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. None of those actors have ever been previously at the Oscars nominated. The limited cast is just, it's not giving like Best Picture nomination. It sounds fantastic. Sounds like it's going to be a blast. I bet I'm going to love it. It's just not, I don't know if it's going to be a best, it's not giving Best Picture.
It's also
cast.
Being released in June. So that's, withstanding the entire season is difficult. I know Past Lives struggled with that when they went in for pictures. So it's likely going to be a very solid film, but though you never know. We could be wrong. But there's a trailer coming out tomorrow. So
we'll find out.
We'll find out tomorrow whether we put this too low or not.
Yeah.
Another A24 film. We got the Battle of the A24 Safdie brother films. One is Marty Supreme. The other one is Benny Safdie. The Safdie that he's the actor in Good Time and Oppenheimer. It's called The Smashing Machine. It's starring The Rock. He plays a real mixed martial artist. Is that what they call it? Mixed martial artist? And UFC champion named Mark Kerr. And I believe the story will likely follow this fighter's insane life with fighting and substance abuse. And the Rock looks pretty unrecognizable in the role. The film is giving very Iron Claw vibes to me. Emily Blunt is also in it. In fact, Emily Blunt encouraged The Rock, insisted that The Rock did this film. And The Rock has alluded that he really wanted to show people what he can do in this film as an actor. So this could be very promising. It feels a little less original, I guess you could say, than Marty Supreme. But this still sounds like something I'm really jonesing to see.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe it could possibly be something we've already seen with like The Wrestler and things like that. But
nice to see The Rock in something like this, though.
Yeah,
for once.
it is. And it'll be nice to know if like this brother was kind of mostly an actor when they were a duo, or if he was also really hands-on during the directing.
This will be the major test to see if he's the actor one, or is he also a creative.
Why are all the brothers splitting up?
I don't know why all the brothers are splitting up. It's sad. We got the Safdie brothers split up, the Coen brothers split up, but yeah, even also the Peter Farrelly brothers, they split up.
This next one I could see is perhaps this year's Apprentice.
I don't know what this is.
Okay, really quickly. Name something that the Academy hates more than Trump.
Good TV ratings.
No.
Daniel Deadweiler. They snubbed her twice.
Very sad truth, but no. Vladimir Putin, the Wizard of Kremlin. Wait, I'm not calling him that.
That's the name.
That's the name of the movie. That sounded like I was calling him a Kremlin. Directed by Olivier Assayas.
Yeah, he did Clouds of Sils Maria. He did Personal Shopper. And Variety reported this film being Olivier's most ambitious film yet.
Wizard of Kremlin follows a young artist turned TV producer who unexpectedly becomes the spin doctor for Vladimir Putin. This takes place in the early 1990s in the aftermath of the USSR's collapse. It stars Paul Franklin Dano.
Oh yeah, Alicia Vikander.
Jeffrey Wright. Zach Galifianakis. And is that it?
And Vladimir Putin, who's being played by Jude Law. Also, Olivier is working with the DP from Little Women and the same editor of Black Swan and Tick Tick Boom, Academy Award nominated editor. I could see this being a very good role for Jude Law, couldn't you? I think he's been on a roll lately, so this could be his time. It's a very juicy role, so if he really goes for it, I could see that. And also, we went through this entire list, and we haven't mentioned a single movie film. The Wizard of Kremlin is being distributed by Mubi, and so is this next one. It's called The History of Sound. This is directed by Oliver Hermanus, who did Living with Bill Nighy a few years ago. It stars Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor. The director told Variety this is an unexpected love story that needs to be told. It is a journey through the life of America across the 20th century and the traditions of American folk music, all seen through the bonds between two men immersed in the history of sound. This undeniable, powerful story will certainly resonate with audiences all over the world. So he has a lot of faith in it. Also, Awards Watch reported that it's going to be aiming for a Cannes premiere. So it could be something. Could be.
Bradley Cooper has a new film. Is this thing on?
You would think that we would have this pretty high.
Yeah, the reason why we don't have this ranked in the top 10 is that this project actually feels very small. It's a Searchlight Pictures.
Fox Searchlight Pictures. It's written by Will Arnett.
Plot involves a couple's marriage that's crumbling as they pursue separate paths. He explores stand-up comedy in New York City while she rediscovers herself. Laura Dern is playing the wife, I believe. Bradley Cooper plays Arnett's friend. Andra Day is listed in the cast as well.
It's hard to gauge the tone on this one. Maybe, I think you mentioned like maybe it's going to be like Private Life, maybe. Also, it just started filming this year in January. So there's no guarantee it's going to be ready for the fall circuit release, but just wanted to put it out there, put it on the radar. Next, we do have another film also that we've already reviewed on this channel, Sorry Baby. So go ahead and check out that review. It was a big hit out of Sundance. It didn't feel like a big Best Picture contender, but I think it did feel like a screenplay contender. Also, A24 bought the film at Sundance for $8 million, winning a bidding war over Neon, Mubi, Searchlight Pictures. So it was a competitive bidding war. They won, and the reviews are pretty exceptional. So yeah, this could be our real pain this year. So watch out for that one.
Agreed.
And moving a little faster. Let's move faster. I reviewed this film from TIFF. This is the surprise TIFF audience winner, Mike Flanagan's The Life of Chuck. So you know about this film. We all know that the TIFF Audience Award, there's a big correlation between that winner and that film showing up in Best Picture. The challenge is Neon bought this film and didn't release it last year. So this makes it the first year in over a decade that the TIFF Audience Award winner did not get nominated for Best Picture. Technicality, but still. It's also being released in June of this year. And personally, I really never thought Life of Chuck was going to make the Best Picture lineup, even last year. So I'm definitely doubtful that it's going to have the buzz to withstand the entire year. But, you know, we can't disregard the TIFF Audience Award winner. We can never disregard it. And the film, it does have a lot of people who are passionate about this film. So, yeah, we got to have it on the list.
I love Captain Phillips, and Paul Greengrass has another film coming this year called The Lost Bus from Apple. Basically, it's about a bus driver who has to navigate a bus carrying children and their teacher to safety through the 2018 Camp Fire, which became the deadliest fire in California history. Matthew McConaughey is playing the bus driver. America Ferrera is a teacher.
Yeah, it's not a film I guess we ranked high because sometimes I think it's hard to know whether Greengrass is going for, I guess, the popcorn Born Identity vibe or Oscar Captain Phillips vibes, right? Like, it sounds like it's somewhere in the middle. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, this could be the next Speed.
Which would be great. Best Picture, I don't know.
Probably not Best Picture.
I'm looking forward to it. And who doesn't love, by the way, America Ferrera?
That's true.
Who doesn't want to see her give a speech about women's issues on a bus with screaming children, screaming for their lives? I know I do. Another movie coming out, we got Late Fame.
Okay.
Willem Dafoe, you know this one? Willem Dafoe is in a movie called Late Fame. He's overdue for an Oscar. This sounds like a very juicy role. It's from the director of Diane. I never watched that movie, but it's by Kent Jones. This is his second narrative film following his first film, Diane, which had a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. So it also was nominated for some Spirit Awards. His new film, Late Fame, follows a legendary New York poet. He's now a postal worker. He's played by Willem Dafoe. And his work has been kind of forgotten, but he's being rediscovered by an eccentric group of young students, reigniting kind of his artistic passion. And I think Greta Lee plays one of these students that forms some sort of bond with him. This film just started, I believe, filming in January, so it's probably not going to be ready for fall season. It's got no distributor attached right now, but I think it sounds like a great role for Willem Dafoe, I think. So one to keep an eye out for. Again, he's bound to win an Oscar. We don't know when it's coming. He's in like 4 movies a year. When is it coming? This could be it.
Okay, so this next one, I'm positive that a lot of people are going to be screaming at us for having it so low. This is a part of the battle of the musical biopics. This is where we have the Michael Jackson biopic. It's a cradle-to-grave biopic following Jackson from his time in the Jackson 5 to his adult life. The reason we have this so low is maybe
It's probably obvious.
Yeah, there's a big elephant in the room, and the elephant's name is controversy.
Yeah, I would say doing a Michael Jackson biopic is kind of nearly impossible. It's kind of like a no-win situation making this movie.
I mean, there's already been some controversy, and it's not even close to being out.
Yeah, apparently the film does address the accusations. The producer, Graham King, has gone on record saying, as a filmmaker, I look to humanize, but not sanitize, and present the most compelling, unbiased story I can capture in a single feature film and let the audiences decide how they feel after watching it. Michael clearly remains an impactful, culturally relevant artist with a life and legacy worth exploring. And Dan Reed, from the 2019 Leaving Neverland documentary, he basically read a draft of Michael, and he said that the screenplay was startlingly disingenuous for making a point to actually discredit Robson and Safechuck's accusations against Jackson. It's a lot of drama.
Yeah, basically there's a lot of tea. There's like potential for an entire video that could be made about the legal discourse going on behind the scenes with these filmmakers and what's going on. The filmmakers had to scramble to refilm the third act because the film broke a signed agreement or contract that prohibits the dramatization of them, I guess, in any form in the movie. So it's a mess. And ultimately, the movie is, I guess, no matter how it's presented, it's only going to ignite more controversy.
Yeah, I agree. What the film does have going for it, I would say, it's shot by the same DP in Chicago. It's written by the writer of Hugo, the Aviator, and Gladiator. Michael Jackson is played by Michael Jackson's nephew, real nephew, Jafar Jackson. I don't know if that's a pro or con, but that's interesting.
He does look a lot like him.
Yes, he does. And the cast, this is another plus, has Coleman Domingo. And who doesn't love Coleman Domingo? But I think this is a negative. The film is directed by Antoine Fuqua. He's the director of the Equalizer films. And his only real Oscar movie has been Training Day. So I don't think we're big believers in this. It does have a $155 million budget and counting. And I'm sure this movie is going to be a financial success.
It's definitely going to make a lot of money.
It's going to make a lot of money. But with that money, it's also got a lot of controversy attached. So I don't think Lionsgate is going to be prepared for the controversy when it comes. And you think Amelia Perez getting 13 nominations is going to cause controversy? Ooh, just wait till this movie scores 13 nominations. Yeah, grab the popcorn. It's going to get
messy.
It's going to get messy.
That's pretty fascinating, but let's keep moving. We have to mention the third Knives Out film, Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man.
It's a yearly tradition at this point to
yes
to put the Knives Out movie on the list.
Totally Johnson stated that it will be different from the previous installments. Daniel Craig returns, though. The cast includes Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin,
Mila Kunis,
Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney,
Thomas Hayden Church.
It's a big cast. There's always a lot of people. The first two got screenplay nominations, and both were in conversation for Best Picture to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So placing it at number 33 seems reasonable.
That seems very reasonable. All right, so the next one, Matt Downs actually put this on my radar. I'd never heard of it until you mentioned it. Whitney Springs, Trey Parker from South Park. Have you heard of this? Him and Kendrick Lamar has a film coming out in the summer. The script is written by Vernon Chapman, who voices Tally in South Park. The president and chief executive officer of Paramount Pictures, he called the script one of the funniest and most original scripts he's ever read. It's about a young black man who's interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum who discovers that his white girlfriend's ancestors once owned his. So this would be Parker's first film since Team America World Police, which has gained, I think, a lot of cult classic following. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure many of us would think it's crazy to put this on the list, but The Book of Mormon, I mean, that won like what? 9 Tony Awards. I'm not sure that was on a lot of people's bingo cards back in 2011. And Trey Parker is Oscar nominated. I don't know if you knew that. He got nominated for original song for Blame Canada. Great song. Also, it's currently slated for July 4th, my birthday.
All-American Boy. July's a little early.
It is early, but maybe if this film's delayed, maybe it comes out at TIFF. Maybe it wins Audience Award. You never know. So yeah, put it on the list.
Next, we have Highest to Lowest, directed by Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, A$AP Rocky. This is basically an English language reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's 1963 Japanese film High and Low. A wealthy shoe company executive who is threatened by kidnappers.
Yeah, this sounds more like a popcorn film, aligned more with Spike Lee's Inside Man. But it's shot by Matthew Libatique, who shot Maestro in A Star is Born. And it's being distributed by A24, Spike Lee A24 film. The reason why this is so low is because the original is incredible. And I think trying to outdo Kurosawa, that's a tall order. Also, Spike Lee has tried to remake Old Boy. And I'm still excited for it. I don't know about you.
I always gotta support Spike Lee.
Yeah, I'll say I'll put this in the box that you would call cautiously optimistic. The next film has like 20 adaptations. It's Hedda. This is the reimagining of Henrik Ibsen's renowned stage play from 1981, Hedda Gabler. Hedda Gabler is played by Tessa Thompson. For those unfamiliar, the play is about a bored, newly married woman, Hedda, who feels trapped in a loveless marriage and seeks to exert influence and control over other people, ultimately leading to a tragic downfall.
It's directed by Nia DaCosta, the director behind Candyman and The Marvels, but it should be a pretty sizable project, I think.
The DP is Sean Bobbitt, who was nominated for Judas and the Black Messiah. The composer, can I do it? Hildur Guðnadóttir.
Hildur Guðnadóttir?
My name is Hildur Guðnadóttir.
But Hedda Gabler is also from Orion Pictures and Amazon MGM, so it definitely could be an interesting one, but she hasn't made an Oscar film yet, so we'll see.
Okay, we've gone through 30-something films, and I hope you're still here. We're not here alone.
They can't be here.
We haven't mentioned Terrence Malick's new film yet. That's how strong this year's lineup is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The Way of the Wind is Malick's Jesus film, I guess.
Yeah, it's like chronicles several episodes in the life story of Jesus through a bunch of parables.
Yes, editing for this film has been going on since 2019, so it's been in the works for a while.
It's actually rumored that Malick filmed an average of 5 hours per day and overall led to 3,000 hours of footage. The cast includes Mark Rylance, he plays Satan. And then we have Geza, I think his name's Roig?
Oh, from Son of Saul.
From Son of Saul.
Son of Saul, Hungary.
And we got Ben Kingsley in this. We got the same DP from Tree of Life. The reason why Malick is ranked this low is simply because following Tree of Life, he's had a string of other films that just haven't really hit, but this definitely sounds like a very ambitious project. Also, Film Stage reported that it's circling a 2025 Cannes premiere.
So that's good. It's going to be finally seeing the light of day after so many years of working on it. It's been a long time. I mean, 2019, that's a long time.
Okay, we have a few more. We have The Mastermind. That's being distributed by Mubi. This is a Kelly Reichardt film about a daring art thief set in the backdrop of the Vietnam War. It's got the same DP from First Cow.
The cow. The cast includes John Magaro, Josh O'Connor, Alana Haim,
Gabby Hoffman, Hope Davis, Bill Camp. Kelly Reichardt has never been nominated by the Academy. What? Something tells me that if they couldn't do it for First Cow in a pandemic year, I'm not sure they'll ever connect with her films. But I'm always excited for a Reichardt film. So production started in November of last year. So hopefully it'll come out this year. But it might be pushed to next year. We don't know. So that's just a movie to keep on the radar.
We have A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey that's being directed by Kogonada from Columbus and After Yang. This stars Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie, written by Seth Reese.
He's one of the writers of The Menu.
The story is described as an imaginative tale of two strangers and the unbelievable journey that connects them. Variety just reported that the film will be pushed from May to September, which could be a really good sign that Sony Pictures sees this as an awards film.
I think so. Yeah, no, I might have put this film higher, but I already made the graphic. So it is where it is. Brendan Fraser, he's back in something that I think sounds a bit like Lost in Translation. The film is called Rental Family. It's about a down and out actor living in Tokyo who's hired as like a token American guy for a Japanese rental family company, leading him to an unexpected journey of self-discovery through the roles he plays in other people's lives. This is directed by Hikari, who has directed a few episodes of Beef and also a film called 37 Seconds. It was shot in Japan. It's distributed by Fox Searchlight. So this is in there because maybe Brendan Fraser strikes gold twice. So I had to put it in there. Sounds interesting.
We're almost through all the films. A24 has a film called Eternity coming out. The director is relatively new, but has directed a film called Dating Amber, which scored a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. The film stars Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, Divine Joy Randolph. And I think this premise sounds really interesting.
It does. I really like this premise.
After death, everyone gets 1 week to choose where to spend eternity. For 3 characters, it's really a question of who to spend it with.
Also, Eternity was voted onto the blacklist for the best unproduced screenplays of 2022. So to me, this sounds a bit like this year's My Old Ass, which I love. And it's right up my alley. So I don't know if it's a best picture movie, but sounds really fun.
Okay, so you mentioned Lost in Translation earlier. Scarlett Johansson makes her directorial debut with Eleanor the Great. It stars American treasure June Squibb. End of story.
Erin Kellyman from The Green Knight. She's also in this. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
The story surrounds a 90-year-old Floridian woman who strikes up an unlikely friendship with a 19-year-old student in New York City. I'm getting like St. Vincent vibes with this one.
Yeah.
It's being distributed by Sony Pictures Classic. Also, your favorite, your boy, Richard Linklater.
My boy.
He has a film too. Shocking, this is as low as it is, considering how much you love him.
Well, yeah, this film is Richard Linklater's first project shot entirely in French. It's reported to be shot in black and white. It's got a 4:3 aspect ratio. It's called Nouvelle Vague, I think is what it's called. It depicts the making of Jean-Luc Godard's film Breathless. So, which is French New Wave, which makes me sound very pretentious. It currently doesn't have a distributor, but it's also got entirely a French cast, so it's a tough sell for the Academy, but it's something I'm definitely interested in watching.
And if you're still watching this, this video is so long. Shout out to those who are still here.
Absolutely. But there's more films, believe it or not. I love Dream Scenario from 2 years ago. We got Christopher Borgoli. He has a new film from A24 starring frickin' Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim. She's in everything.
Yeah, she's in a lot of movies
She's in a lot of movies this year, at least 3. But yeah, I want this movie badly. While the details of this movie, the plots are under wraps, from what we know, it follows 2 leading actors as they portray a loving couple close to celebrating their wedding day before things take a turn for the worse. Also, Ari Aster, he's producing. Filming just concluded in December, so this may not be in time for this year, but I'm very pumped for this one, especially because I was a big fan of Dream Scenario, so I'm looking forward to this one. Lynn Ramsey also has 2 films out this year. One is called Die My Love, and the other one is called Polaris. I think it's Polaris, right? Polaris. And one of them we have images for, and that's the dramatic thriller Die My Love. The cast includes Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson again, also having a great year. Lakeith Stanfield, Sissy Spacek, Nick Nolte.
It's an adaptation of the 2017 novel that takes place in a farmhouse on the Montana countryside. Jennifer Lawrence plays a woman who has mental health issues as her marriage breaks down. Cinematographer who shot Atonement and Anna Karenina, he shot
Die My Love in 35 millimeter. And he took inspirations from Roman Polanski's Repulsion and Rosemary's Baby. So it sounds pretty amazing. I think the images look good. And Lynn Ramsey doesn't really make Oscar films, at least not yet, but we'll see.
Okay, so we're almost there, I promise.
Almost there.
I've been waiting for this filmmaker to come back.
Are you talking about Derek Cianfrance?
Yes, Derek Cianfrance, the director behind Blue Valentine and Place Beyond the Pines. Queens.
You like him as well.
Guys. Yes, he's back with a crime film based on the true story of Jeffrey Manchester, known as the Roofman, and being played by, wait for it, Channing Tatum. His character is an inmate known for breaking into the rooftops of different McDonald's. He's on the run and hides somewhere no one would look for him, the roof of a Toys R Us store.
It sounds really awesome. It's got Kristen Dunst in it, Ben Mendelsohn, Peter Dinklage, Uza Aduba. I'm kind of getting like Lucky Logan vibes meets the best like heist scenes in Place Beyond the Pines. It sounds really fun though, and currently it's slated in October by Paramount Pictures, so this could be one to look out for. There's also a film about Chrissy Martin. If you've seen the Netflix documentary Untold, you may be already familiar with this story, but Sydney Sweeney is basically playing Chrissy Martin.
Yeah, it's going to chronicle the boxing star's rise to becoming America's most well-known female boxer in the 1990s, and later the attempted murder by her husband in 2010. Ben Foster plays the husband, and Katie O'Brien co-stars.
It's directed by David Michaud. He's directed the film Animal Kingdom and The Rover and The King. Aside from one supporting actress nomination, hasn't really made an appearance at the Oscars. I know Sydney Sweeney, though, you said was...
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney has actually mentioned this movie on her Instagram, so if you want to go check out her post, I know she's excited about it because she's been posting about it.
Yeah. The filming, I think, wrapped in November of last year. But I'm looking forward to this one. But we have a few more. We have a few more, and then we're done. We have Daniel Day-Lewis. He's coming out of retirement. I repeat, Daniel Day-Lewis is coming out of retirement. It appears that he and his son, he co-wrote a script. Anemone, I think is what it's called.
It reminds me of the scene in Nemo where she's like, anemone.
Anemone. I think CNN describes being about the intricate relationships between fathers and sons and brothers and the dynamic of familiar bonds, whatever that means. The big bugaboo, I think, is Ronan Day-Lewis, the director. He's very wet behind the ears. I can't imagine he would be directing if this wasn't part of the deal to get his daddy out of retirement. But this is being distributed by Focus Features, so I wouldn't write it off completely. It co-stars Sean Bean, Samantha Morton. So this may be the biggest budgeted family film, something small and personal over something that's Oscars. But if Daniel Day-Lewis is in it, I mean, you got to put it on the list. So we have it on the list. Yvette, do you have any more to throw out there?
There is a David O. Russell film possibly coming out with Nicolas Cage playing John Madden. This is about the NFL head coach John Madden, forced into retirement. He teams up with a mild-mannered Harvard programmer to rewrite his fading legacy by building the world's first football video game.
It's very similar to Amazon's Air.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage was cast in August, and it hasn't even shot yet, so I don't know if it's going to be out.
It'll probably be next year. But okay, so the only other films I would want to throw out there, I want to throw out Edgar Wright has a new film. Baby Driver was the closest he got to the Oscars. He's adapting The Running Man. It's a 1982 novel of the same name by Stephen King. It's set in the very scary futuristic time of 2025.
How appropriate that it's coming out this year.
It's about a game show called The Running Man, and it's about these people who are chased by murderous hunters across the world to win money. And Edgar Wright has shared that this is not a remake of the original film, but a much more faithful adaptation of the source material. So it definitely feels more of a popcorn picture, but it's slated for a November release. It's got a fun cast. Glenn Powell, Katie O'Brien, Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, Coleman Domingo again. Wow. Gotta love him. Again, will probably be a blast, but will Oscars care? Probably not. Another film that I think is going to be a bit more mainstream is Warfare. This is by the director of Civil War, Alex Garland. He co-directs this with Ray Mendoza, who has never directed. It's based on ex-Navy SEAL Ray Mendoza's real-life experiences during the Iraq War. It looks incredibly intense and harrowing. It's distributed by A24. It actually got excellent reactions. It's coming out in early April. I can imagine a sound nomination in the least, but yeah.
Any more? It's a lot.
Honestly, there is, but I've pretty much listed everything on my radar that I could see. There's If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. That's one to throw out there maybe. The other Lim Ramsey film I mentioned earlier, Polaris. It's with Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara. It's described as Rosemary's Baby. in Alaska. Really not sure what the status of that movie is. Either way, probably favored the other Ramsey film with Jennifer Lawrence. There's a Jonah Hill movie that's coming out. It sounds really interesting. It's called Outcome. It's with Keanu Reeves. He plays like a damaged Hollywood star who has to confront his demons and make amends with people after he's been blackmailed with like a mysterious video clip from his past. You know, Jonah Hill, he's shown some talent, I think, right behind the camera. Other than that, that's like everything. That's everything on our radar.
As of right now, I'm sure more movies that we have no idea exist will start to be announced as soon as we post this. And you can let us know in the comments, actually. I would love to hear what everyone is looking forward to. What are you looking forward to? Is there anything we missed? Let us know.
Also, comment below what films you would predict for Best Picture. Say you only had to pick 10 of these. Comment below what your Best Pictures, early Best Picture predictions would be. I hope this video got you really excited for the new slate of films coming out this year and next Oscars.
Sounds like a good year.
It sounds like a great year. And if you did enjoy this video, consider subscribing so that way you can watch more Oscar related videos. And coming up, I'm gonna try to do a little collab with a special guest, and we're gonna try to predict the nominees and early predicted winners for all the major categories. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and what else?
Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, we'll see you
At the Oscars.